Hello, gentle soul, and welcome to Science for Sleep. I'm so grateful you found your way here tonight to this quiet corner of wonder where science meets serenity, where knowledge becomes a lullaby, and where the mysteries of our world unfold like petals in moonlight. Wherever you are in this vast, beautiful world, nestled in blankets, watching shadows dance across your ceiling, or simply seeking a moment of peace, let this be your sanctuary. Let the weight of the day dissolve like sugar in warm tea. Let your thoughts settle like snowflakes on still water. Tonight, Science for Sleep invites you on a journey through the extraordinary tapestry of life on Earth. From bioluminescent oceans that paint the night with living light, to trees that whisper ancient secrets through underground networks, from creatures that rewrite their own biology, to forests that breathe and remember, our planet holds wonders that will soothe your mind, stir your imagination, and remind you that you are part of something infinitely beautiful. Some of these scientific marvels may change how you see the morning dew. Others will drift through your consciousness like clouds, gentle and dreamlike. Each discovery is a gift from Science for Sleep to you, a reminder that wonder exists in every molecule, every breath, every quiet moment. If these peaceful scientific journeys bring you comfort or spark your curiosity, consider liking and subscribing to Science for Sleep. It helps other seekers find their way here, one peaceful soul at a time, creating a community of dreamers who find solace in the science of our beautiful world. But for now, settle deeper into comfort. Take a slow, nourishing breath. Feel your body growing heavier, softer, more peaceful, and let Science for Sleep guide you through the gentle miracles of existence.
Frogs that freeze solid. In the icy stillness of winter, something extraordinary happens to certain frogs. They freeze, not slow down, freeze completely. The wood frog of North America can survive being frozen solid for days, even weeks. Its heart stops beating, its blood turns to ice, its organs cease functioning. But thanks to natural antifreeze compounds, glucose and urea stored in its tissues, the frog's cells remain intact. When spring returns and temperatures rise, the ice melts, the heart begins to beat, blood flows, and the frog hops away as if nothing happened. It's not metaphor, it's cryogenic survival perfected by evolution. Scientists study these frogs, hoping to learn how to preserve human tissues, organs, or even whole bodies. For now, they remain quiet miracles, tiny amphibians that defy winter's grip and return, heartbeat by heartbeat, breath by breath, to the living world. The Amazon makes its own weather. The Amazon rainforest doesn't just absorb rain, it creates it. Each day, billions of trees draw water from the soil and release it through their leaves in a process called transpiration. This moisture rises, cools, and condenses into clouds, which then fall again as rain, feeding the forest below. It's a self-sustaining cycle so vast and efficient that the Amazon generates much of its own weather. This loop helps regulate the climate of an entire continent, even influencing rainfall patterns thousands of miles away across the Atlantic. The forest is not just a collection of trees, it's a vast breathing system, a green engine that pumps moisture into the atmosphere. When parts are lost, through fire, logging, drought, the cycle weakens, rain lessens, droughts spread, the whole system begins to unravel. The Amazon is often called the lungs of the earth, but it's also the beating heart of South America's skies, pulsing water, breath, and life into the air itself. Elephants mourn their dead. Among the grasses and dust of the savanna, elephants do something few other animals are known to do. They grieve. When an elephant comes across the bones of a deceased family member or friend, it slows. It touches the remains gently with its trunk. It lingers, sometimes for hours. Some elephants have been observed returning to the same spot years later, examining the bones again with quiet reverence. Elephants stand guard over the dying, refusing to leave. They've been seen trying to lift collapsed companions, using their trunks and tusks to help them stand. Their grief may not be exactly like ours. We can't know what they feel, but it's something deeply felt. They form strong family bonds, remember old companions, and carry emotional weight across years. It's a quiet truth that humbles us. Empathy, loss, and love may not belong only to humans. In the hearts of these great, gentle giants, something ancient stirs, a recognition of life's impermanence, a tenderness that transcends species. Cities built by tiny architects. Coral reefs are among the most vibrant, diverse ecosystems on Earth. But they're not built by plants or rocks. They're built by animals. Each coral is a colony of tiny creatures called polyps, soft-bodied animals related to jellyfish. They feed by extending stinging tentacles to catch plankton drifting through the water. But as they eat, they also build, secreting calcium carbonate that hardens into limestone skeletons beneath them. Over centuries and millennia, these skeletons accumulate, layer upon layer, forming massive underwater structures that stretch for hundreds of miles. And within these reefs, life flourishes. Fish, crustaceans, mollusks, sea turtles, sharks, countless species find shelter, food, and breeding grounds. Despite covering less than 1% of the ocean floor, coral reefs support nearly a quarter of all marine life. They are living cities, built not by design, but by the slow, patient labor of millions of unseen architects. Delicate, colorful, deeply vulnerable, and a reminder of how much can rise from the smallest hands. The rarest color. Look around you. Blue is everywhere. The sky, the ocean, a butterfly's wing, a blue jay's feathers. And yet, true blue pigment is one of the rarest things in nature. Most blue you see isn't pigment at all. It's structure, microscopic patterns on surfaces that bend and scatter light, reflecting blue wavelengths while absorbing others. Morpho butterflies, blue jays, peacock feathers, they don't contain blue dye. Their color comes from nanostructures that manipulate light itself. True blue pigments are chemically difficult for living organisms to make. Very few plants, animals, or minerals produce them naturally. That makes every natural blue a kind of optical illusion, a trick of physics and biology, light dancing on the edge of form. So the next time you see a flash of blue in the wild, remember, you're not just seeing color, you're seeing light transformed by the architecture of life itself. The fungus that puppeteers. In the damp shadows of tropical forests, a horror unfolds, one that blurs a line between life and control. Certain fungi, like Ophiocordyceps, infect insects such as ants. The spores enter through the exoskeleton, infiltrate the body, and begin to grow, not killing immediately, but slowly taking over. The fungus releases chemicals that hijack the ant's nervous system. The infected ant abandons its colony, climbs vegetation, and clamps onto a leaf or stem in a precise location, humidity and temperature optimal for the fungus. Then the ant dies, and from its head a fungal stalk erupts, releasing spores to infect more victims below. Scientists still don't fully understand how the fungus manipulates behavior so precisely, but the result is chilling: a creature turned into a vehicle for something else's reproduction. It's grotesque, but it's also astonishing. An evolutionary strategy millions of years in the making, refined to hijack not just a body, but a mind. In the quiet forest, this silent war continues, and the smallest organisms wield the most terrifying power.
Life has survived 5 mass extinctions. Life on Earth is ancient and astonishingly resilient. Over the past 540 million years, our planet has experienced at least 5 mass extinction events, catastrophes that wiped out the majority of species alive at the time. The most devastating, the Permian extinction 252 million years ago, erased over 90% of marine life and 70% of land species. Volcanic eruptions, climate collapse, oxygen depletion. The world became a graveyard. And yet, life came back. Not the same life, but something new. Survivors became the ancestors of new lineages. Dinosaurs rose from the ashes of the Permian. Mammals inherited the world after the dinosaurs fell. Each extinction reshaped the rules. Each recovery rewrote the story. We are part of that story, descendants of organisms that endured asteroid impacts, volcanic winters, ice ages, and oceans turned to acid. Life doesn't just endure, it adapts, evolves, and reinvents itself. The thread remains unbroken, even through catastrophe. You exist because your ancestors, single cells, ancient fish, small furry mammals, survived when most others did not. You carry their resilience in every cell.
The mirror test. Most animals see their reflection and think it's another animal. They attack it, court it, or ignore it. But a handful of species do something remarkable. They recognize that the image is themselves. In the mirror test, an animal is marked with a spot they can't see without a reflection. If they examine or try to touch the mark while looking in the mirror, it suggests they understand the image is their own body. So far, only great apes, elephants, dolphins, magpies, and possibly manta rays have passed this test. Even some fish show signs of mirror self-recognition. This doesn't mean they have human-style consciousness, but it hints at something profound, that self-awareness, the sense of I, may not be unique to humans. The spark of identity may flicker in minds very different from ours. In the eyes of an elephant, a dolphin, a crow, something looks back and knows, that is me. Across the tree of life, the boundary between self and other may be blurrier, richer, and more mysterious than we ever believed.
The octopus rewrites itself. In the silent depths, the octopus drifts like a dream made flesh, shape-shifting, color-changing, watching with eyes that seem almost human in their intelligence. But beneath the surface lies something even stranger. Octopuses can edit their own RNA, the molecular instructions that translate DNA into proteins. While most animals are stuck with the genetic code they inherited, octopuses make real-time adjustments to how their genes are expressed. This means they can fine-tune their biology on the fly, altering how their neurons work, how they sense temperature, how they respond to stress or injury. It's not the same as changing DNA, but it gives them remarkable adaptability.
Some scientists believe this is why octopuses are so intelligent despite their short lifespans and relatively small genomes. They are shapeshifters not just in appearance, but in biology itself, rewriting their own cellular code, adapting to a changing world in ways we're only beginning to understand. The octopus is a reminder that life's possibilities are wider than we imagined, that evolution can take paths we never predicted, that intelligence comes in forms utterly unlike our own.
Bridges made of life. In the rainforests of Central and South America, army ants march in vast columns across the jungle floor, rivers of insects flowing toward food, toward survival. When they encounter a gap, a stream, a crevice, empty air, they don't hesitate, they don't retreat. Instead, they build a bridge out of themselves. One ant anchors to a branch, another climbs onto its back, then another and another, linking together with hooked claws and mandibles until a living structure forms, flexible, strong, and constantly adjusting to the weight and traffic above. Thousands of ants may link together, holding position for hours while the colony crosses. When the last ant has passed, the bridge disassembles itself and the builders rejoin the march. There's no leader commanding this, no blueprint, just local rules followed by each ant, responding to its neighbors, guided by touch and chemistry. It's collective intelligence at its finest, a shape-shifting architecture made entirely of living bodies, one organism among millions, all working as one. In the jungle's green chaos, the ants teach a quiet lesson, that together, even the smallest can span the impossible.
You are a walking ecosystem. You might feel like a single person, one body, one mind, one identity, but in truth, you are an entire world. Your body contains more microbial cells than human ones. Trillions of bacteria, viruses, fungi, and archaea live on your skin, in your mouth, and especially in your gut. This vast community is called your microbiome, and it's not just along for the ride. Your microbiome helps digest food, produces vitamins, trains your immune system, protects against pathogens, and even influences your mood, behavior, and mental health through the gut-brain axis. In many ways, you are a collaboration, a partnership between human and microbe that has co-evolved over millions of years. Just as no two fingerprints are alike, your microbiome is uniquely yours, shaped by where you were born, what you eat, who you live with, even your pets. So the next time you feel alone, remember, you are never truly by yourself. You're a walking ecosystem, a living planet, a community of trillions working together to keep you alive. You are not one, you are many, and together you are whole.
When the ocean glows. Imagine walking along a beach at night. The waves crash, and where they break, the water glows, electric blue, shimmering, alive with cold light. This isn't fantasy, it's bioluminescence, caused by tiny organisms called dinoflagellates. When disturbed by movement, a crashing wave, a swimmer's hand, a passing dolphin, they release a flash of light through a chemical reaction inside their bodies. In places like Mosquito Bay in Puerto Rico, the Maldives, or certain Australian coastlines, this phenomenon lights up entire shorelines, turning the sea into a glowing, living dreamscape. No electricity, no reflection, just biology. Billions of microscopic creatures creating light the same way fireflies do, through the interaction of an enzyme called luciferase with a light-emitting molecule called luciferin.
Scientists believe bioluminescence evolved as a defense mechanism, a sudden flash to startle predators or attract larger animals that might eat the threat. But for us, standing on the shore in darkness, it's simply wonder. The ocean glowing with its own cold fire, a reminder that even in the deepest night, life finds ways to shine.
Every leaf a masterpiece. Hold a leaf up to the light. Look closely. You're holding a solar panel more efficient than anything humans have engineered. A soft, delicate machine built with microscopic precision. Each leaf is threaded with veins like rivers branching across a landscape, carrying water, minerals, and sugars to every cell. The surface is dotted with tiny pores called stomata, microscopic valves that open and close, letting carbon dioxide in and oxygen out. Inside, the green pigment chlorophyll captures photons from sunlight and converts them into chemical energy through photosynthesis. This process doesn't just feed the plant, it feeds nearly every living thing on Earth, directly or indirectly. Some leaves can track the sun across the sky, tilting to maximize light absorption. Others repel water so effectively that rain simply rolls off. Some trap insects, others store heat or medicine. And no two leaves are exactly alike. Each one is unique, shaped by genetics, environment, and chance. Fragile, beautiful, and alive with purpose. In your hand, you're holding a quiet miracle, a few grams of organized chemistry that turns starlight into life.
The plants that hunt. We think of plants as passive, green, rooted, reaching patiently toward the sun. But some plants have grown tired of waiting for nutrients to come to them. Carnivorous plants like the Venus flytrap, pitcher plant, and sundew have evolved to hunt. The Venus flytrap doesn't just snap shut randomly, it counts. When an insect touches one of its trigger hairs, nothing happens. Touch a second hair or the same hair twice within about 20 seconds, and the trap snaps shut in a fraction of a second, one of the fastest movements in the plant kingdom. Why the delay? To avoid false alarms, raindrops, wind-blown debris. The plant is measuring, waiting, ensuring the movement is real prey before expending precious energy. Pitcher plants form deep, slippery wells lined with digestive enzymes. Insects slide in and cannot climb out. They drown, dissolve, and become food. Sundews glisten with sticky tentacles that curl slowly around their prey like delicate, deadly arms. Why do these plants hunt? Because they live in nutrient-poor soils, bogs, marshes, places where nitrogen is scarce. So they adapted, not with teeth or claws, but with patience and clever biochemistry. These quiet predators remind us that survival takes many forms. Even the gentlest green leaf might hide a hidden appetite waiting in the sun.
When oxygen was poison. Every breath you take is a gift. But long ago, oxygen was Earth's deadliest pollutant. Over 2.5 billion years ago, Earth's atmosphere contained almost no oxygen. Early microbial life thrived in this oxygen-free world, simple anaerobic organisms that dominated the planet for over 1 billion years. Then came the cyanobacteria, tiny photosynthetic microbes that began releasing oxygen as a waste product. At first, it didn't accumulate. Oxygen reacted with iron in the oceans, creating rust-colored layers we can still see in ancient rock formations. But eventually, the oxygen built up. It filled the oceans, it seeped into the atmosphere. And for the anaerobic life that had ruled Earth for so long, oxygen was toxic.
It corroded cells, disrupted ancient metabolisms, caused a mass extinction event now known as the Great Oxidation Event. Yet for other organisms, this deadly gas became a new source of energy, far more efficient than anything before. Oxygen powered the rise of complex, multicellular life. It made possible everything from algae to trees, from insects to elephants, from fish to you. So, with every inhale, remember, the breath that keeps you alive is also the legacy of Earth's first mass extinction. Oxygen is life-giving now, but its history is written in death, transformation, and the patient alchemy of time.
The seeds that sleep for centuries. Science for Sleep reveals that seeds are nature's time travelers, tiny vessels carrying the blueprint for life across years, decades, even millennia. They may seem lifeless, dormant, waiting, but inside each seed lies dormant potential and extraordinary patience. Some seeds can remain viable for centuries, Science for Sleep notes, waiting for the precise conditions necessary to sprout. In one remarkable case, a date palm seed discovered in a 2,000-year-old archaeological site at Masada was successfully germinated by modern researchers. The seed had slept through empires, through the rise and fall of civilizations, through centuries of human history. Then, with water and warmth, it awoke and grew into a tree. How do seeds survive so long? Science for Sleep explains. They're equipped with protective coats, desiccated to remove water that might degrade cellular structures, and filled with biochemical mechanisms that detect environmental cues, temperature, light, moisture, even smoke from fires. Some seeds, Science for Sleep describes, are designed to withstand fire, their hard coats only cracking open when exposed to extreme heat, allowing them to germinate in the nutrient-rich ash left behind. Others can survive burial under meters of soil, floods, or transport across oceans clinging to driftwood. Science for Sleep offers this meditation. In every seed is a quiet promise that life, the songs that travel across oceans. Beneath the sea's surface, in the deep blue darkness, songs drift through the water, long, slow, and hauntingly beautiful. Science for Sleep introduces you to the acoustic world of whales, particularly blue whales, whose vocalizations are among the loudest and deepest sounds made by any creature on Earth. These low-frequency calls, Science for Sleep explains, can travel for thousands of miles underwater. The ocean itself becomes a medium for communication across vast distances, allowing whales separated by entire ocean basins to potentially hear one another's voices. Whales use these songs, Science for Sleep describes, to find mates, navigate the featureless ocean, and communicate information we're only beginning to understand. Each population has its own dialect, and remarkably, their songs evolve over time, changing year by year as different whales contribute new phrases. Humpback whales, Science for Sleep notes, create long, intricate melodies, structured compositions with repeated themes, variations, and what seem to be rhyme schemes. Males sing the same song within a population, but that song gradually changes across breeding seasons, suggesting cultural transmission of musical innovation. Science for Sleep marvels. We don't fully understand everything these songs mean, but we know they matter profoundly to the singers. These are not random sounds, but meaningful messages shared across a watery world among creatures who have roamed Earth's oceans far longer than humans have walked its lands. As you rest, Science for Sleep offers this meditation. Beneath the waves, ancient voices sing to one another across darkness and distance, carrying songs older than human language, more patient than human time. When frogs become ice and return to life. In the icy stillness of winter, Science for Sleep shares one of nature's most astonishing survival strategies. Some frogs, particularly the wood frog of North America, undergo a transformation that seems impossible. They freeze solid and survive. Not just slow down or hibernate, Science for Sleep clarifies, but literally turn to ice. Their hearts stop beating, blood crystallizes, organs cease functioning, their bodies become stiff and frozen like small amphibian sculptures scattered under autumn leaves. But here's the miracle Science for Sleep reveals. Thanks to natural antifreeze compounds, primarily glucose and glycerol flooding their cells, the frog's internal structures remain intact. Ice forms between cells, but not within them, preserving delicate membranes and tissues. When spring returns and temperatures rise, Science for Sleep describes this wonder. The ice melts, the frog's heart restarts, blood begins flowing again, and the frog awakens, hopping away as if nothing extraordinary occurred. It's biological cryogenics perfected by evolution over millions of years. Scientists study these frogs, Science for Sleep notes, hoping to understand how to preserve human tissues and organs for transplantation, or how to protect cells from freezing damage. For now, these amphibians remain quiet miracles of adaptation, tiny creatures that defeat winter's deadly embrace and return, heartbeat by heartbeat, to the living world. Science for Sleep offers this image as you drift toward sleep. Even in deepest cold, even in apparent death, the possibility of renewal waits patiently beneath the surface.
The rainforest that creates its own weather. Science for Sleep takes you now to the Amazon, often called the lungs of the earth. But this description, while poetic, doesn't capture the full wonder. The Amazon doesn't just absorb rain and produce oxygen, it creates its own climate, Science for Sleep reveals. Each day, as sunlight warms the vast canopy, billions of trees release moisture into the atmosphere through transpiration. Science for Sleep describes this process. Water absorbed by roots travels up through the tree and evaporates from leaf surfaces into the air. This vapor rises, cools, and condenses into clouds, which then release rain, falling back to feed the forest below. It's a cycle so vast and efficient, Science for Sleep marvels, that the Amazon generates much of its own weather. This self-sustaining loop doesn't just affect the forest itself, it regulates climate across an entire continent, influences Atlantic weather patterns, and helps stabilize global climate. The Amazon, Science for Sleep explains, is not simply a collection of trees, but a single massive breathing system, an atmospheric engine. When parts of it are lost through deforestation or fire, the cycle weakens. Rain decreases, drops spread, the system begins to unravel. Science for Sleep offers this meditation. The forest breathes with you across thousands of miles, exhaling moisture and life into the air, sustaining ecosystems far beyond its borders. It's a living reminder that everything connects, that distant trees share the same atmosphere with your lungs, the same water cycle, the same planetary home. The organism without a brain that solves problems. Science for Sleep introduces you to one of nature's strangest puzzles, the slime mold. These organisms look like something from science fiction, bright yellow or white networks spreading across decaying wood and soil. They're not plants, not animals, not fungi, but something in between. And Science for Sleep reveals they possess an eerie form of intelligence.
Slime molds are single-celled organisms, or rather multinucleated masses of protoplasm, lacking any brain or nervous system. Yet Science for Sleep shares this remarkable research. They can solve mazes. When scientists place slime mold in a labyrinth with food at 2 exits, the organism spreads out in all directions, explores every path, then gradually withdraws, leaving behind only the most efficient route between the 2 food sources. It doesn't think, it doesn't plan in any way we'd recognize. Science for Sleep explains the mechanism. Slime molds use chemical gradients and feedback loops, a kind of distributed intelligence written into their cellular behavior. They explore, test, withdraw from unsuccessful paths, and reinforce successful ones. They've even been used, Science for Sleep notes, to model efficient transportation networks, creating designs that parallel the optimal subway routes humans engineered through trial and error over decades. The slime mold finds similar solutions in hours. Science for Sleep offers this wonder. Intelligence comes in forms we're only beginning to understand. Not all of it needs neurons, brains, or consciousness. Sometimes problem-solving emerges from simple rules, chemical signals, and the patient exploration of possibilities, a reminder that thinking itself may be far more diverse than we imagine.
The tiny architects who built underwater cities. Coral reefs are among Earth's most vibrant ecosystems, underwater rainforests of color, movement, and life. But Science for Sleep reveals a truth many don't realize. These massive structures aren't built by plants or formed from rocks. They're built by animals, tiny creatures called polyps working together across countless generations. Each coral is a colony of thousands of polyps, Science for Sleep explains, each no larger than a pinhead. They feed by extending stinging tentacles to capture plankton drifting in the current. But more importantly, they build. Each polyp secretes calcium carbonate, creating a hard skeleton that forms the foundation of the reef. Over time, centuries, millennia, these skeletons accumulate, Science for Sleep describes, forming massive underwater structures that can stretch for hundreds of miles. The Great Barrier Reef, visible from space, was built one tiny polyp at a time, one generation after another, slowly, patiently, persistently. And within these reefs, life flourishes. Science for Sleep marvels. Despite covering less than 1% of the ocean floor, coral reefs support nearly a quarter of all marine species. Fish, crustaceans, mollusks, sea turtles, sharks, rays, and countless other creatures make their homes in these living cities built by the smallest hands. Science for Sleep offers this meditation as you sink deeper into rest. Delicate and colorful, reefs remind us that monumental achievements often come from tiny, persistent efforts, that beauty can be built slowly, that even the smallest contribution, repeated endlessly, can create wonders that endure.
The 5 deaths and rebirths of our world. Science for Sleep now takes you on a journey through deep time, through the vast stretches of Earth's history written in stone and fossil. Our planet has experienced at least 5 mass extinction events over the past 500 million years, each one erasing the majority of species alive at the time. The most devastating, Science for Sleep recounts, is called the Permian extinction, sometimes known as the Great Dying. Over 90% of marine species and 70% of land vertebrates vanished. The world changed, and most of life changed with it, into death. Volcanic eruptions lasting millions of years, asteroid impacts, climate shifts,
ocean acidification. Science for Sleep describes how each mass extinction reshaped Earth's biological landscape completely. But here's the wonder. Each time, life returned. Not the same life, that was gone forever, but something new, something adapted to the post-catastrophe world. From the ashes of extinction, Science for Sleep explains, ecosystems reinvented themselves. Tiny survivors, often the small, the adaptable, the generalists, became the ancestors of new lineages. Mammals rose after dinosaurs fell. Flowering plants revolutionized terrestrial ecosystems. The story continued. Science for Sleep offers this meditation. We are part of that story, descended from ancient survivors who endured darkness, starvation, fire, and poison, and found a way forward. Every breath you take connects you to that unbroken thread of life, stretched across eons, bent but never broken, resilient beyond measure. As you rest, remember, life doesn't just endure, it transforms, adapts, and emerges from catastrophe with new forms, new possibilities, new beauty.
When giants remember and mourn. Among the tall grasses of the African savanna, Science for Sleep brings you to witness something that will touch your heart. Elephants mourning their dead. These gentle giants, with their vast memories and complex social bonds, display behavior that speaks to depths of emotion we once thought uniquely human. When an elephant comes across the bones of a deceased relative or friend, Science for Sleep describes, it slows down, sometimes stopping completely. It reaches out with its trunk, touching the remains with what can only be described as tenderness, exploring the skull, tusks, and bones with gentle investigation. Some elephants have been observed returning to the same location years later, Science for Sleep notes, examining the bones again, standing in silent vigil. Elephants have even been seen guarding the dying, refusing to leave the side of a sick or injured family member, standing watch as life fades. Their grief may not be identical to human mourning, Science for Sleep acknowledges, but it's something deeply felt, undeniably real. Elephants form bonds that last decades, remember friends across their long lives, and carry the weight of loss. Science for Sleep offers this reflection. Empathy, sorrow, and love may not belong exclusively to humans. In the hearts of these enormous, gentle beings, something ancient stirs, a recognition of life's impermanence, the value of connection, the pain of absence. Their mourning reminds us that consciousness and emotion bloom in many forms across the tree of life, each valid, each profound, each worthy of respect. The fungal puppet master of the forest floor. In the shaded, damp understory of tropical forests, Science for Sleep reveals a drama that seems borrowed from horror. A quiet war where mind control is real and death comes on fungal threads. Certain fungi, particularly Ophiocordyceps, infect insects like ants, infiltrating their bodies through spores. Once inside, Science for Sleep explains, the fungus begins to grow, releasing chemicals that alter the insect's behavior in frighteningly specific ways. The infected ant abandons its colony, abandons its normal patterns, and begins to climb. Compelled by fungal biochemistry, the ant ascends vegetation until it reaches a particular height and location, conditions optimal for fungal spore dispersal. Science for Sleep describes the final act. The ant clamps its mandibles onto a leaf or branch in a death grip, and there it stops forever. The fungus kills its host and sprouts a stalk from the ant's body, releasing spores into the air below to infect others.
Scientists studying this phenomenon, Science for Sleep notes, still don't fully understand the mechanisms of control, how the fungus manipulates the nervous system so precisely, how it knows when and where to guide its host. But in this quiet biological warfare, we witness one of evolution's most sophisticated strategies. Science for Sleep offers this reflection. The forest is more than green peace and sunlit beauty. It's filled with unseen strategies, some elegant, some terrifying, all shaped by the relentless creativity of life, seeking survival by any means necessary.
The optical illusion called blue. Look around you, at the sky, at certain flowers, at butterfly wings, at peacock feathers. Science for Sleep invites you to notice something remarkable. Blue seems everywhere in nature. And yet, Science for Sleep reveals, true blue pigment is one of the rarest substances in the natural world. Most blue creatures, blue jays, morpho butterflies, peacocks, don't actually contain blue pigment at all. Science for Sleep explains the secret. Their color comes from structure, not chemistry. Microscopic patterns on feathers, scales, and wings bend and scatter light in specific ways that reflect blue wavelengths while absorbing others. It's called structural coloration, and Science for Sleep marvels at its elegance. It's an optical illusion created by shape, not dye. The blue you see is light dancing on the edge of nano-architecture, physics performing magic at the molecular level. True blue pigments, Science for Sleep notes, are biochemically challenging for living organisms to manufacture, and very few have evolved the capability. This makes every natural blue a kind of trick, a beautiful deception where light and life collaborate. Science for Sleep offers this meditation as your eyes grow heavy. The next time you glimpse a flash of blue in the wild, remember you're not just seeing color. You're witnessing light itself being choreographed by life's invisible structures, bent into beauty, shaped into wonder.
The mirror of self-awareness. Science for Sleep poses an ancient question. What does it mean to know yourself? Most animals can see their reflection, but very few seem to recognize it as themselves. Self-recognition, Science for Sleep explains, is exceedingly rare in nature, often considered a hallmark of higher consciousness. The mirror test works like this. An animal is marked with a spot or paint in a location they can't see without a mirror. If they examine or touch the mark while looking at their reflection, it suggests they understand the image is themselves, not another animal. Science for Sleep shares the exclusive club of species that have passed: great apes, dolphins, elephants, magpies, and possibly manta rays and certain fish. This doesn't mean they possess human-style consciousness or self-reflection, Science for Sleep clarifies, but it hints at something profound, that awareness of self, the flicker of I am, may not be uniquely human. It might exist in forms we're only beginning to recognize, distributed across wildly different nervous systems and evolutionary pathways. Science for Sleep offers this thought as you drift toward sleep. Across the tree of life, the boundary between self and other, between awareness and instinct, may be far more fluid and mysterious than our categories suggest. In minds very different from ours, behind dolphin eyes, elephant memories, and crow intelligence, something like recognition stirs, something ancient and universal.
The cephalopods who rewrite reality itself. Science for Sleep now invites you into the alien world of the octopus, a creature so strange, so intelligent, so fundamentally different from us that encountering one is like meeting a being from another planet that happened to evolve here on Earth. The octopus drifts through ocean depths like a living dream, shape-shifting, color-changing, watching with eyes that seem to hold ancient knowledge. Science for Sleep shares this wonder. Octopuses are already among the most intelligent invertebrates on Earth, capable of solving complex puzzles, using tools, and demonstrating what appears to be playfulness and curiosity. But beneath this behavioral brilliance lies something even stranger. Science for Sleep reveals cutting-edge research. Octopuses can edit their own RNA, the molecular instructions that translate DNA into proteins. While most animals are locked into the genetic code they inherited, octopuses can make real-time adjustments to how their genes are expressed. This means, Science for Sleep explains, they can fine-tune their biology on the fly, altering how their neurons function, how they sense their environment, how they respond to temperature changes and stress. It's not quite changing their DNA itself, but it grants them remarkable flexibility that most organisms lack. Scientists don't fully understand why octopuses evolved this ability or how they control it so precisely. Science for Sleep offers this meditation. In these soft-bodied, eight-armed beings, we glimpse intelligence wearing an utterly different form, minds distributed through arms, bodies that can flow like water, and now biology that can be rewritten like software, adapted to circumstance, moment by moment, in the silent depths.
The living bridges built from bodies and trust. Deep in the rainforests of South America, Science for Sleep introduces you to one of nature's most stunning examples of collective intelligence, army ants. These insects, numbering in the millions, move across the jungle floor in massive, flowing columns, like a river of life seeking food and new territory. When the colony encounters a gap, a stream, a crevice, a space between branches, they don't stop. Science for Sleep describes their solution. The ants build bridges out of themselves. One ant anchors to a branch or leaf. Another climbs onto its back, then another and another, each gripping the ant below with legs and mandibles until a living structure forms, flexible, strong, and completely organic. Thousands of ants may link together, creating a span that others can cross safely. Science for Sleep marvels at the engineering. As traffic flows across the bridge, ants in the structure adjust their positions in real time, responding to weight distribution, tension, and the number of crossers. When the last member of the colony passes over, the bridge disassembles and the builders rejoin the march. Science for Sleep reveals the remarkable truth. There's no leader commanding this construction, no blueprint, no foreman ant with plans. Instead, the bridge emerges from local decisions, each ant responding to its immediate neighbors, guided by instinct, chemical signals, and simple rules that create complex results. It's a profound example of emergence, Science for Sleep notes, a shape-shifting structure made entirely of living bodies, each individual willing to become part of something larger, each life temporarily transformed into architecture, all working as one seamless, adaptive organism. The living universe within your body. Science for Sleep now reveals a profound truth about your identity. You might feel like a single person, one mind, one body, one self, but in reality, you are an entire ecosystem, a walking world, a community of trillions. Your body contains more microbial cells than human ones. Science for Sleep details this reality. Bacteria, viruses, fungi, and archaea live on your skin, in your mouth, throughout your digestive tract, and in countless other niches. This collection, your microbiome, isn't simply hitchhiking. These microorganisms actively shape who you are. They digest foods your body can't process alone, producing essential vitamins. They train your immune system, teaching it to distinguish friend from foe. They protect you from pathogens, occupying ecological niches that harmful bacteria might otherwise colonize. Science for Sleep shares this fascinating research. Some gut bacteria even produce neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, potentially influencing your mood, behavior, and mental health. In many ways, Science for Sleep explains, your microbiome functions as an extension of your body's intelligence, a vast, invisible partner in nearly everything you do. Some microbes protect you, others compete with invaders, and still others perform tasks we're only beginning to understand. Just as no two fingerprints are identical, your microbiome is uniquely yours, shaped by your environment, diet, genetics, and life history. Science for Sleep offers this comforting thought. The next time you feel alone, remember you're never truly by yourself. You're a walking wilderness, a world within a world, home to trillions of tiny lives that share your journey through existence, breath by breath, heartbeat by heartbeat.
When oceans paint the night with living light. Science for Sleep transports you to a quiet beach at night, where darkness wraps around you like velvet. You walk along the shore, and suddenly magic. Each footstep in the wet sand glows with eerie blue-green light. Each wave that crashes on the beach leaves a trail of shimmering luminescence, as if the ocean itself were filled with liquid stars. This phenomenon is real, and Science for Sleep explains its wonder. The glow comes from tiny organisms called bioluminescent plankton, primarily dinoflagellates. When disturbed by movement, a wave, a swimmer's hand, a school of fish, they release a flash of cold light through a chemical reaction inside their single-celled bodies. It's the same principle fireflies use in the sky, but here it creates entire seascapes of living illumination. In places like Mosquito Bay in Puerto Rico, the Maldives, or certain California beaches, this bioluminescence can be so intense that boats leave glowing wakes behind them, and swimming feels like floating through a galaxy. Science for Sleep describes this phenomenon. When you move through these waters, every gesture creates ripples of light, as if you're painting the ocean with your presence. Science for Sleep shares this scientific wonder. Bioluminescence has evolved independently at least 40 times across the tree of life, in bacteria, fungi, squid, jellyfish, and countless other organisms. Each species developed its own biochemical pathway to create light, for hunting, for defense, for communication, for camouflage, for courtship. As you settle deeper into rest, Science for Sleep offers this meditation. Even in Earth's darkest waters, life finds ways to shine, to illuminate the void, to turn chemistry into beauty and darkness into wonder.
The architectural miracle of every leaf. Hold a leaf up to the light. Any leaf, from the smallest clover to the broadest banana palm. Science for Sleep invites you to witness a quiet miracle. Each leaf is a masterpiece of natural engineering, a solar panel more sophisticated than anything humans have manufactured. At its heart lies a delicate network of veins, branching like rivers across a miniature landscape, carrying water from roots and distributing sugars produced through photosynthesis. The leaf surface is dotted with microscopic pores called stomata, thousands of them,
that open and close like tiny valves, letting carbon dioxide in and oxygen out, regulating the plant's breathing. Science for Sleep reveals the chemistry. Within specialized cells called chloroplasts, the green pigment chlorophyll captures photons from sunlight and converts them into chemical energy through a cascade of reactions so elegant that physicists and chemists still study its efficiency with awe. This process doesn't just feed the plant, it feeds the world, producing oxygen and organic matter that sustains nearly every living creature on Earth. Some leaves can track the sun's movement across the sky, turning to maximize light capture. Others repel water with microscopic wax patterns. Still others store heat, trap insects, or communicate through scent. Science for Sleep marvels. No two leaves are exactly identical in form, vein pattern, or function. Each is unique, as individual as a human fingerprint, as specialized as a craftsman's tool. As you drift toward sleep, Science for Sleep offers this image. Imagine millions upon millions of these green machines quietly working at this very moment all over the planet, turning light into life, breathing out what you breathe in, sustaining the endless cycle.
When the breath you take was once a poison. Science for Sleep invites you to consider something profound about the very air filling your lungs right now. Every breath you take, automatic, life-sustaining, unremarkable, carries within it the legacy of Earth's most catastrophic pollution event and greatest biological revolution. Travel back more than 2 billion years to an Earth unrecognizable to modern eyes. Science for Sleep describes this ancient world. The atmosphere contained virtually no oxygen. Early microbial life, the planet's first inhabitants, thrived in this oxygen-free environment. These organisms, called anaerobes, had no need for oxygen. In fact, oxygen would have been toxic to them. Then came cyanobacteria, microscopic photosynthetic pioneers that began releasing oxygen as a metabolic byproduct. At first, the change was imperceptible, but over millions of years, oxygen accumulated in the oceans and atmosphere, triggering what scientists now call the Great Oxidation Event. Science for Sleep reveals this dramatic truth. For countless anaerobic species, oxygen was lethal. It corroded cellular structures, disrupted ancient metabolic pathways, and caused a mass extinction event that wiped out much of Earth's early life. But for the survivors, this invisible gas became a revolutionary new energy source. Oxygen-breathing organisms could extract far more energy from nutrients, eventually powering the evolution of complex multicellular life, plants, animals, fungi, and eventually you. Science for Sleep offers this meditation. The breath keeping you alive is also the legacy of mass death, the gift born from catastrophe, the foundation of your existence built on ancient extinction. With every inhale, you participate in a cycle billions of years old. Your lungs process the same element that once poisoned a world, now transformed into the very essence of life itself.
The quiet predators hiding in plain sight. Science for Sleep now turns your attention to the green world around you. The plants we often picture as passive, gentle, reaching quietly towards sunlight with patient grace. But not all plants wait politely for nutrients to arrive. Some have evolved into hunters. Carnivorous plants, the Venus flytrap, pitcher plant, sundew, and others, lure insects with seductive scents, brilliant colors, and promises of nectar. Science for Sleep describes their elegant violence. The Venus flytrap, for instance, counts the footsteps of its prey,
only snapping shut when triggered multiple times within 20 seconds, ensuring it doesn't waste energy on falling debris or raindrops. It's a plant that performs arithmetic. Pitcher plants form deep, slippery wells filled with digestive enzymes, botanical stomach traps where insects slide downward into no escape, slowly dissolving into nutrients. Sundews glisten with sticky, jewel-like droplets on tentacle-covered leaves that curl around captured prey with slow, inexorable pressure, like sticky arms embracing lunch. Why do they hunt? Science for Sleep explains. These quiet predators remind us that survival takes infinite forms, and even the gentlest green leaf might conceal a hidden appetite, a patient hunger, a will to live that transforms sunlight and stillness into strategic power.
The secret conversations of ancient forests. Step softly now into the cathedral silence of an old-growth forest. Science for Sleep invites you to imagine standing among towering giants, their canopies filtering sunlight into soft green-gold rays. Beneath your feet, invisible to the eye but profound in its complexity, exists a hidden conversation that has been taking place for millions of years. Trees, long thought to be solitary monarchs, each standing alone, are actually connected by vast underground networks of fungal threads known as mycorrhizae. Science for Sleep reveals this wonder. Through these delicate filaments, finer than human hair, yet spanning entire ecosystems, trees exchange nutrients, send chemical warnings, and share resources in ways that transform our understanding of plant intelligence. Older trees, which scientists have begun calling mother trees, actively support their offspring by channeling sugars and minerals through this subterranean web. Science for Sleep shows you this remarkable reality. A dying birch may pass its last energy stores to a neighboring fir. A mature tree detecting pest damage will send chemical alarm signals through the network, allowing distant relatives to bolster their defenses before the threat arrives. This isn't metaphor or poetry, it's documented, peer-reviewed science. The forest is not a collection of competing individuals, but a single, breathing, sharing community. Researchers have mapped these networks and discovered they mirror the neural pathways in a brain, leading some to call it the wood wide web. Science for Sleep marvels at this truth. Beneath every footstep in the forest, messages travel through fungal highways, creating a symphony of cooperation we're only beginning to understand. In this silent world of roots and fungi, wisdom flows like water, and the forest remembers what we've forgotten, that survival is not about standing alone, but about reaching out, connecting, sharing, and thriving together. The microscopic travelers who survived the stars. Science for Sleep now introduces you to Earth's most resilient travelers, tardigrades, affectionately known as water bears. These microscopic creatures, less than a millimeter in length, resemble tiny, wrinkled, eight-legged gummy bears when viewed under magnification. But their adorable appearance belies an almost supernatural toughness. Science for Sleep presents this astonishing fact. Tardigrades can survive conditions that would annihilate virtually any other form of life. Temperatures approaching absolute zero that would freeze other organisms into crystalline death. Heat exceeding the boiling point of water. Pressure 6 times greater than the deepest ocean trench. Radiation levels that would liquefy human tissue. And most incredibly, the vacuum of space itself. In 2007, European scientists launched tardigrades into low Earth orbit, exposing them to the cosmic void, solar radiation, and temperature extremes. Science for Sleep shares this wonder. When the capsule returned, the tardigrades were alive, not merely surviving, but capable of reproducing normally, as if their journey beyond Earth's protective atmosphere had been nothing more than a brief inconvenience. How do these microscopic marvels achieve such resilience? When environmental conditions become hostile, tardigrades enter a state called cryptobiosis. In this suspended animation, they expel nearly all water from their bodies, replacing it with a sugar called trehalose that forms a protective glass around their cells. Their metabolism slows to an unmeasurable crawl, not dead, but not quite alive either, just waiting, patiently, sometimes for decades. When water returns, they rehydrate and resume life as if no time had passed. Science for Sleep marvels these tiny beings remind us that life is far stranger, far tougher, and far more adaptable than our imagination previously allowed. Even drifting through the stars, life endures.
The immortal dancer beneath the waves. In the warm, sun-dappled coastal waters of the Mediterranean, where light filters through liquid emerald, drifts a creature that has discovered something humans have sought for millennia. The Turritopsis dohrnii, often called the immortal jellyfish, holds within its translucent body a secret that defies the very foundation of life as we understand it. Science for Sleep brings you this wonder. When this remarkable jellyfish faces injury, old age, or environmental stress, it performs an extraordinary transformation. Like a film played in reverse, like a story rewriting its own beginning, it reverts its cellular structure to an earlier stage of development. Imagine a butterfly folding back into a caterpillar, a flower returning to seed, time itself bending backward. The jellyfish returns to its polyp form, the jellyfish's equivalent of childhood, and begins its life journey anew. This process isn't theoretical speculation or scientific fantasy. Researchers have observed it repeatedly in controlled environments, documenting this biological miracle with careful precision. The jellyfish cycles through its life stages over and over, potentially forever, unless consumed by predators or destroyed by external forces. Science for Sleep reminds you that this creature, floating in the quiet ocean depths, demonstrates that nature's imagination far exceeds our own. While it doesn't hold the literal key to human eternal life, it whispers a profound truth. The boundaries we assume are fixed, birth, growth, aging, death, are more fluid than we ever imagined. Here, drifting in saline darkness, is a being that rewinds the clock of existence, not once, but endlessly, gracefully, silently.
The Amazon makes its own weather. The Amazon rainforest doesn't just absorb rain, it creates it. Each day, billions of trees draw water from the soil and release it through their leaves in a process called transpiration. This moisture rises, cools, and condenses into clouds, which then fall again as rain, feeding the forest below. It's a self-sustaining cycle so vast and efficient that the Amazon generates much of its own weather. This loop helps regulate the climate of an entire continent, even influencing rainfall patterns thousands of miles away across the Atlantic. The forest is not just a collection of trees, it's a vast breathing system, a green engine that pumps moisture into the atmosphere. When parts are lost, through fire, logging, drought, the cycle weakens, rain lessens, droughts spread, the whole system begins to unravel. The Amazon is often called the lungs of the earth, but it's also the beating heart of South America's skies, pulsing water, breath, and life into the air itself.
And so, we arrive at the final whisper of tonight's journey. We've drifted through oceans where water glows with cold fire. We've stood beneath forests that speak in sugar and silence.
We've watched jellyfish rewind time, ants build bridges from their own bodies, and trees that have lived for 80,000 years. We've seen that oxygen, the breath you're taking right now, was once a poison that nearly ended all life. That the color blue is mostly an illusion, that elephants grieve, dolphins have names, and crows remember faces. We've learned that you are not one organism, but trillions, a walking ecosystem, a collaboration between human and microbe, stardust, and ancient viral DNA woven into the fabric of your cells. Every atom in your body was forged in the heart of a dying star. The calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, the oxygen in your lungs, all created in stellar furnaces billions of years ago, scattered across space, gathered here in you. You are not separate from Earth. You are Earth, briefly organized in a way that can think, wonder, and feel awe at its own existence.
Tonight, as you drift toward sleep, life continues its patient work. Somewhere, a coral releases its eggs into the moonlit sea. A bird flies with half its brain asleep. A tardigrade curls into dormancy, waiting for water to return. A forest breathes moisture into clouds. A jellyfish begins its life cycle again. Beneath Antarctic ice, fish with antifreeze blood glide through darkness. In tropical soil, fungus sends chemical commands through an ant's mind. On a savanna, an elephant touches the bones of a friend and remembers. The earth does not stop turning for your rest, but it holds you gently as you sleep. This blue world spinning through space, this garden of miracles where life has learned to glow, to sing, to change color, to freeze and thaw, to die and be reborn. You are part of this story, not an observer, but a participant, a brief, beautiful chapter in the longest story ever told, the story of life itself. So let your breathing slow now. Let your thoughts become soft clouds drifting across an inner sky. Let the weight of your body sink into comfort like a stone settling into soft earth. You don't need to remember everything you've heard tonight. These facts were not a test, but a lullaby, gentle truths to carry you from waking into sleep. If you're still awake, that's okay. The next video will begin soon, but most likely you're already gone, drifting now among forests and oceans, among stars and cells, among the quiet wonders that make this blue planet home.
Thank you for joining us tonight on Science for Sleep. If this journey brought you peace, consider sharing it with someone who needs rest. Subscribe for more gentle explorations of our beautiful, mysterious world. Until next time, sleep softly, dream deeply, and remember, you are made of miracles. Good night.